Okay, let's unpack this. When you're dreaming about moving to, or maybe even just visiting, a vibrant country like Portugal, your mind probably jumps straight to the stunning coasts, right? The delicious pastries, that whole lifestyle.
Absolutely. The experience is the draw.
It is. But beneath all that excitement, there's this, well, crucial layer of practical stuff.
Hmm.
And honestly, nothing feels more like a maze sometimes than figuring out insurance in a new country.
It can definitely feel overwhelming. Unfamiliar terms, different rules.
Exactly. It's daunting. So that's what we're diving into today. Think of this as your shortcut. We're digging into a really comprehensive guide on Portuguese insurance to pull out the absolute essentials for you.
Yeah, the goal is to make you feel informed, but without, drowning you in jargon.
Right. We'll focus on what's mandatory, what's really recommended, how you actually get these policies, and maybe most importantly, how to keep those costs down.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is how universal that need for protection is. We all need it. But then the requirements get incredibly specific the minute you cross a border. Every country has its own system. So this deep dive, it's about distilling those key Portuguese nuances, making sense of the mandatory stuff, the recommended bits, and critically, how you can navigate the system efficiently.
Whether you're an expat, retiree, student.
Tourist, investor, anyone really. Our sources lay out a pretty solid roadmap. We'll look at public options, private options across different risks. But the core message, usually some minimal coverage is mandatory.
Okay, so what are the big categories we're hitting today?
We're breaking it down into 6 key types: health, car, home, travel, life, and business insurance.
Got it. And thinking about moving abroad, healthcare is often like the #1 concern. So how does Portugal handle health coverage? Is it public, private, or?
It's definitely a mix, and understanding that blend is, well, crucial. Portugal has a public healthcare system, the SNS, Serviço Nacional de Saúde.
SNS, right.
Once you become a legal resident and you're in the system, the SNS covers most treatments, and it's nearly free at the point of service, maybe small copays for prescriptions, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And if you're just visiting from the EU, EEA, or Switzerland, you can use your eHealth card, European Health Insurance card, or the UK GHIC for any necessary state care during your trip.
So the public system sounds pretty comprehensive for residents. But what about others? People just arriving, non-EU folks. Do they need private insurance? Is it required?
That's a really critical point, especially for non-EU nationals. If you're from outside the EU, or really any foreigner who isn't yet fully registered in the SNS, you typically must buy private health coverage.
Must buy. Okay.
Yeah, it's often a visa requirement. Think Schengen visas or the long stay ones, the D7 for retirees, D8 for digital nomads, D9 for passive income. They all require proof you have insurance covering at least around 30,000 euros in medical costs.
That's a pretty specific number.
Ah.
So for those needing private cover, who are the main players? What kind of benefits do these plans offer compared to just using the SNS once you're registered?
Well, you'll see familiar international names and strong local ones like Fidelidad, Matus, Alliance Care, Cigna Global, those kinds of providers.
Okay.
And the benefits of going private. Often faster access to specialists. They might cover things the SNS doesn't fully cover, like, say, dental or vision care. And many plans have international benefits, too, which is handy if you travel.
Right. Makes sense.
Now, private plans do cost extra, obviously. Premiums vary a lot based on your age, the level of coverage you pick. But they offer that choice, that speed. It can be really useful for specific needs or if you just don't want to wait.
And are there ways to manage those costs?
Definitely. One tip from our sources is looking at higher deductible plans. That can bring the premium down quite a bit.
Smart. Okay, back to the SNS for a sec. If someone moves, gets a job, pays into Portuguese Social Security,
Yeah.
how do they actually get registered? What's the process to get that numero do utente you mentioned?
Right. The numero de utente, the user number, it can feel a bit, well, bureaucratic maybe, but it's manageable.
How?
First, you need your NISS. That's your Social Security number. Get that sorted. Then you go to your local health center, the Centro de Saúde. You'll usually need proof you've been living at your address for at least 90 days. You get that from your local parish council, the Junta de Freguesia.
Right, the Freguesia.
Exactly. Show them that, along with your NISS and ID, and they'll issue your numero de utente. Once you have that card, boom, routine care, doctor visits, most hospital stuff is covered.
So that User number is the key for day-to-day healthcare. Now, you mentioned a tax deduction earlier for health premiums. Tell me more about that. It sounds important.
Oh, it is. It's a fantastic tip.
Yeah.
Basically, 15% of what you pay for your private health insurance premiums and sometimes even life insurance premiums is tax deductible.
15%. Wow.
Yeah, up to a cap. Currently, €1,000 per year per taxpayer. So the government is actually helping you afford that private cover. It effectively lowers the real cost.
That's huge.
It is. The key thing is make sure your insurer gives you an annual statement for tax purposes. You have to
Yeah.
declare it on your IRS tax return to get the deduction. Don't leave that money on the table.
Definitely noted. Okay, let's switch gears. Something that's absolutely unequivocally mandatory if you're driving: car insurance. What's the bare minimum you legally need in Portugal?
Yeah, no getting around this one. Every single vehicle on Portuguese roads must have at least third-party liability insurance. They call it RC Auto Responsabilidade Civil Automóvel.
RC Auto, got it.
That's the legal minimum. It covers damage you cause to other people or their property. Drive without it. Illegal. Big fines. Simple as that.
Okay, makes sense. RC Auto is the floor, but most people probably want more cover than just that, right?
Yeah.
What are the common optional extras?
Oh, absolutely. The basic RC Auto is available from all the big names: Fidelidad, Alliance, Liberty, Aegis, Tranquilidad, Zurich. You'll see them everywhere. But yeah, people add layers. The big one is comprehensive, or danos proprios. That covers damage to your own car, collision, fire, theft, vandalism.
Okay, so that's the all-risk type thing.
Pretty much. There's also often an intermediate option, like third party plus fire and theft. And then you can usually bolt on extras like glass breakage cover, natural disasters, personal injury protection for the driver, roadside assistance.
Right, like a menu you can pick from.
Yeah.
So what drives the cost? What factors make it go up or down? And what's the typical ballpark figure per year?
It varies hugely, as you'd expect. Your age, your driving experience, the make and model of the car, where you live in Portugal, your claims history, that no claims bonus,
Right.
and the deductible you choose. All that matters. For a standard private car, sources suggest somewhere in the range of, say, €150 to €350 a year for basic cover might be typical.
Okay.
But, if you're under 25 or you got a powerful car or you want that full comprehensive Danos Proprios, it'll cost more. And this is where the deductible, the franquia, comes in again. A higher deductible usually means a lower premium.
And Portugal uses that bonus malus system, right?
Mhm.
How does that work? And what paperwork do you need to actually get insured?
Yep, the bonus malus. Think of it like good behavior points. Every year you don't make a claim where you're at fault, you usually get a discount. Your bonus builds up. Can save you a lot over time.
Yeah.
But if you cause an accident and claim, your premium might go up for a while. That's the maluses part. It encourages safe driving.
Makes sense. And the documents.
Standard stuff, mostly. Your ID, a valid driving license, the car's registration, document the DUA, Documento Único Automóvel. You'll also need your Portuguese tax number, the NIF, and proof of your address.
Okay, and what about using your insurance from back home?
Well, a policy from your home country, maybe with a green card, might cover you temporarily when you first arrive. But Portuguese law says once you're settled, you need a proper Portuguese policy.
Right, you need the local cover. So just quickly, can you recap those rough cost ranges for the different levels?
Sure. So for that basic mandatory third-party liability, you're probably looking at like 150 to €250 a year. Add fire and theft cover, maybe it pushes towards €200 to €300. And for comprehensive danos proprios, covering your own car. It's much more variable, but could be anywhere from, say, €250 up to €500 or even more, depending on the car and driver.
Gotcha. And if the worst happens, how do you make a claim?
Report it to your insurer straight away, usually within 24, maybe 48 hours. Give them any police report if there is one. Photos are always good, details of any witnesses. For minor bumps, often people just fill out the Declaración Amigável de Acidente. That's a standard friendly accident report. Form drivers fill out together at the scene.
Okay, good to know. Right, let's move from the car to the home. Protecting your Portuguese place. What's mandatory here? Is anything required by law?
Yes, and this one often surprises people. If you own an apartment or unit in a shared building, what they call a condominium or propriedad horizontal, then fire insurance, incendio seguro, is mandatory.
Mandatory fire insurance. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the Civil Code, Article 1429, apparently. It covers the structure of the building, sometimes common areas. Now, the building itself might have a master policy for shared parts, but each individual unit owner must insure their own fraction, their own apartment.
Okay, so you're responsible for your own unit's fire cover. And how much cover do you need? Is it based on market value?
No, and this is super important. The insured amount, the capital segurado, must reflect the reconstruction cost of your unit, not what you could sell it for, not the land value, just what it would cost to rebuild the structure.
Reconstruction cost, that's a key difference. What happens if you get that wrong? If it's too low or too high?
Exactly. It's tricky. Get it too low, you're underinsured, a fire happens, the insurance payout won't be enough to actually rebuild. Get it too high, you're just paying extra premium for coverage you don't technically need. You're wasting money.
Hmm. So how do you keep it accurate?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Insurers use an official index, the ASF's Índice de Edificios, to track building costs. And between 2020 and early 2025, that index apparently shot up by over 40%.
Wow, 40%.
Yeah. So you absolutely have to review your coverage, usually annually. The policy often mandates it. You need to make sure that Capital Segurado keeps pace with real construction costs. Otherwise, you could find yourself badly underinsured without realizing it, or maybe paying way too much an exaggeradissimo premium, as one source put it.
That's a really powerful point about the index rising. So beyond mandatory fire cover for condo owners, what about broader home insurance? And what about landlords or renters?
Right. So for landlords, that mandatory fire insurance is usually required if you have a mortgage anyway. And good news for them, it's generally a tax-deductible expense against rental income. Beyond just fire, there's multi-risk insurance, multi-riscos. This isn't mandatory, but it's highly recommended. It's a package deal. It includes the fire cover, but adds protection against storms, floods, earthquakes, theft, vandalism, water damage from pipes, liability if someone gets hurt on your property.
Sounds pretty comprehensive.
It often includes things like temporary accommodation costs if you have to move out after a claim, even legal assistance sometimes. It bundles a lot together.
And what about all your stuff inside the house? Furniture, electronics, clothes?
Yep, that's separate. That's contents insurance, or seguro de recheo. It protects your personal belongings against theft, fire, water damage, etc. You need to figure out how much your stuff is worth and get enough cover. Making an inventory, especially for valuable items, is always a smart move.
Good idea. And the cost for these multi-risk or contents policies depends on.
The value you're insuring, mostly. Also, the building type, location, security features like alarms or reinforced doors, and again, the deductible you choose. And remember that annual review based on the building index, it applies to the building part of your multi-risk policy too.
Okay. Let's quickly touch on taxes again for home insurance. Any deductions here?
Good question. So, that mandatory fire insurance premium, especially for landlords renting out the property, can be deducted on your tax return, Schedule H, just like health insurance.
Okay.
But, and this is a key, but general multi-risk home insurance premiums, the contents part, and definitely car insurance premiums, not tax deductible for individuals.
Right. Only the specific mandatory fire bit, potentially. And claims process. Similar to car.
Pretty similar. Notify your insurer quickly, usually in writing. Document everything, photos. Keep receipts for repairs or replacements. And remember, the higher your deductible, the less you pay in premium, but the more you pay out of pocket when you claim.
Makes sense. What about renters? Do they need home insurance?
By law. No, renters aren't required to have home insurance. However, a landlord might put it in the lease that the tenant needs liability insurance, seguro de inquilino, to cover any damage the tenant might accidentally cause to the property itself.
Ah.
And for their own stuff. Renters absolutely should consider contents insurance. The landlord's building insurance won't cover your personal belongings if there's a fire or theft. That's on you.
Got it. Okay, let's shift again. For those of you listening who are planning a visit, maybe a short trip, or perhaps embracing that digital nomad life, travel insurance becomes key. What's the deal here? Is it just advised or sometimes required?
It's definitely strongly advised for any short-term visitor or non-resident. But more than that, it's often required for visa applications. If you need a Schengen visa to enter Portugal, you must show proof of travel insurance with at least 30,000 euros in medical coverage. It's a non-starter without it.
Okay, so essential for many visa applicants. But what about EU citizens with their EIC or GHIC cards? Do they still need travel insurance?
That's a common question. Yes, UE Swiss folks can use their EU HYPE or GHIC for necessary state health care while visiting Portugal. It covers emergencies, things you can't wait to get treated back home.
Right.
But, and it's a big but, the EU HYPE does not cover things like repatriation, getting you flown home if you're seriously ill or injured. It doesn't cover private health care or mountain rescue or lost luggage or trip cancellation.
Oh, okay, so it's quite limited.
Exactly. So even with an e-week, many people still buy comprehensive travel insurance for that complete peace of mind. For non-EU tourists needing the visa, it's mandatory anyway, covering medical, often baggage delays, etc. Providers like Alliance Global Assistance, World Nomads are popular.
And what about the digital nomads or people on those longer-term D7, D8, D9 visas? What are their insurance needs?
Right, for those applying for or holding these long-stay visas, yes, proof of adequate travel or health insurance is a must. The policy needs to be valid for all of Portugal, meet that minimum 30,000 medical cover, and critically, it usually needs to cover at least the first year of your intended stay. For the whole first year.
That's the common guidance, yeah. Companies like April International or Cigna Global offer plans often used for this. And a little tip. Some fancy credit cards might offer basic travel insurance if you book your trip with them. But always, always check the small print for coverage limits and exclusions. Don't rely on it blindly.
Good advice. And international students.
EU students can use their EHIC. Non-EU students, they really should get a dedicated student travel or health plan. There are specific products like iSecuro designed for them.
Okay. And one last thing on travel, what if you're planning activities, like surfing or hiking?
Great point. If you're planning on doing anything considered high-risk surfing, skiing, maybe even serious hiking, double-check that your travel insurance policy actually covers those activities.
Hmm.
Many standard policies exclude dangerous sports, so you might need an add-on or a specialist policy. Read the policy wording carefully. Excellent heads up. Okay, next up, life insurance. This one isn't always mandatory, but it's often seen as a cornerstone of financial planning, right? Especially with dependents or a mortgage. What's the situation in Portugal?
You nailed it. Life insurance says Seguro de Vida. It's not compulsory by law in Portugal for everyone. However, if you take out a mortgage, the lender will almost certainly require you to have it.
Ah, okay. So tied to mortgages often.
Very often. It's security for the bank. It ensures that if the borrower dies or becomes critically disabled, the outstanding mortgage debt gets paid off, so it protects the bank, but also protects the surviving family from losing the home. Beyond mortgages, it's just sensible planning if people rely on your income.
Makes sense. What kinds of life insurance policies are common there?
You've got the standard types. Term life is probably the most common. It pays out a lump sum if you die within a specific period, like 10, 20 years.
Okay.
Then there's mortgage life insurance, which is specifically designed to decrease alongside your mortgage balance. As you pay the loan down, the coverage reduces.
Right, so it just covers the outstanding debt.
Exactly. You can also find whole life or savings type policies. These combine life cover with an investment or savings element, building up cash value over time, but they tend to be more complex and expensive.
And any specialized covers.
Yes, you can often add riders for critical illness or get specific disability policies. You might see terms like IAD invalidez absoluta e definitiva or ITP invalidez totally permanente, covering different levels of severe disability.
Okay, quite a few options. Who are the main insurers offering life policies and what affects the cost?
Again, it's the big players mostly. Fidelidade, Ageas Portugal, Alliance, Tranquilidade, MetLife, Generali, MAPFRE. You'll see those names. MetLife is sometimes mentioned for simpler term plans, maybe without needing a full medical for younger applicants up to certain limits, but generally cost depends heavily on your age, your health condition, smoking status, the amount of cover you want, and the policy type.
So younger and healthier is cheaper.
Massively cheaper, especially for term life. Premiums really climb as you get older. If you do need a medical exam for the policy, applying earlier is better because the premium is often fixed for the life of the policy once it's issued, although it might adjust slightly for inflation.
Good tip. And tax benefits. Anything for life insurance.
Yes. Similar to health insurance, a portion of life insurance premiums can be tax deductible, along with personal accident insurance premiums under certain rules. It adds up.
Okay.
But the really big tax advantage with life insurance in Portugal, the payout itself. When the insured person dies, the lump sum paid to the nominated beneficiary is generally tax-free.
Tax-free, that's significant.
Huge. It doesn't usually count as part of the deceased's estate for inheritance tax purposes, though it should still be declared for transparency. But your loved ones get the full benefit without a tax hit.
Wow, okay. Now let's think about entrepreneurs, people starting businesses or hiring staff in Portugal. There's a whole other layer of insurance there, right? Some mandatory stuff.
Oh, yes, definitely. If you employ anyone, even just one person, like a domestic helper, Or if you're self-employed on recibos verdes working for clients, you absolutely must have work accident insurance, seguro de accidentes de
A
trabalho.
must-have. Okay, that sounds serious.
It is. The law requires it. It covers medical expenses, lost wages, disability benefits if a worker gets injured on the job. And importantly, in Portugal, this cover usually extends to accidents happening during the commute to and from work as well.
Even the commute. Okay.
Yep. And the authorities take this very seriously. There are hefty fines for employers caught without this cover. It's non-negotiable.
Right, work accident insurance is top of the list for employers. What else is required or strongly recommended for businesses?
Well, depending on the profession, professional liability insurance might be legally required. Think doctors, lawyers, architects, financial advisors, people whose mistakes could cause significant financial loss to clients.
Errors and omissions type cover.
Exactly. Even if it's not strictly mandatory for your specific field, if you run any kind of consultancy or service business, having professional liability is just, well, prudent. It protects you if you're sued for negligence.
Makes sense. What about company cars?
Same rules as personal cars. At minimum, you need that third-party RC auto for any vehicles owned by the business.
Okay. And beyond the mandatory or near mandatory, what else should businesses think about?
Depends on the business, of course. If you have a physical premises or expensive equipment, you'll want property insurance, probably a multi-risk policy similar to home insurance, and maybe business interruption cover, which helps replace lost income if, say, a fire stops you from trading for a while.
Right, keeps the cash flow going.
Yeah. For larger companies, directors and officers insurance, or D&O, might be considered. It protects the personal assets of managers if they get sued for decisions made while running the company. It's rarely mandatory, though.
And health insurance for employees? Is that common?
It's not legally required for employers to provide private health insurance, but many companies, especially larger ones or those competing for talent, do offer it as a valuable employee benefit.
Like a perk.
Exactly. Group plans can be quite cost-effective for the company, and it's often a tax-efficient way to boost compensation packages.
So where do businesses get these policies? Same providers?
Largely, yes. The major insurers all have business divisions. Often, businesses will work through an insurance broker, especially one specializing in SMEs or their specific industry. Finding an English-speaking broker can be really helpful to navigate the options.
Good advice. Okay, we've covered a huge amount of ground, health, car, home, travel, life, business. Now let's pull it together with some real insider tips. The astuces, as you said. How can people navigate all this smartly, like a local, and maybe save some cash?
Right, the practical takeaways. Beyond just knowing what you need, it's about the how to be smart about it. And yeah, our sources had some great astuces.
Lay them on us.
Okay, first big one. Bundle and compare. Always. Don't just take the first quote. Ask insurers about discounts for combining policies. Car plus home is common, maybe home plus life. Use comparison websites. Deco Protest is a well-known consumer association. Comparajaw is another site. Or find a good independent broker, especially one used to dealing with expats.
Shop around, basically. What about deductibles? You mentioned them a few times.
Yes, actively negotiate or choose your deductible the franquia. If you agree to pay a higher amount yourself before the insurance kicks in, say, a $250 or $500 deductible on your car or home policy, your premium will almost certainly be lower. It's a trade-off, a lower premium now versus potentially paying more if you claim later.
Worth considering. What else?
Think twice before claiming for minor things, especially on car insurance. That no claims bonus, the bonus, is valuable. It can slash your premium by 50% or more after several claim-free years. Sometimes paying for a small scratch yourself is cheaper in the long run than losing your discount.
Play the long game. Good tip. What about keeping cover up to date?
Crucial, especially for home insurance. Regularly review that insured amount, the capital segurado. Make sure it matches the real rebuild cost using that ASF index as a guide. Update it annually, as often required. Avoid being underinsured. Avoid overpaying. Get it right.
And for EU folks, using that EIC card.
Yes, keep your EIC or GHIC valid. It's great for emergencies when you first arrive or while visiting, even before you're fully in the SNS system. But remember, for long stays over 90 days, you really need to get registered with the SNS, get your NISS and Numero de Utente for full access.
And for the visa applicants.
Yeah.
The D7, D8, D9 crowd.
Reiteration here, but health insurance requirement is key. Have that policy ready, valid for Portugal, covering at least $30K medical, ideally for the first year. Get it sorted before your visa appointment. It's a common reason for delays if it's not right.
Okay, let's talk money again, tax and savings.
Keep all receipts. Seriously. For health insurance, maybe life insurance, and that mandatory fire insurance for rentals, you must declare the premiums on your annual IRS tax return, an XOH usually,
Huh?
to actually get the deduction. The tax office won't guess.
Right, you have to claim it.
Exactly. And remember again, standard car insurance, standard multi-risk home contents insurance, not deductible, know the difference.
Got it. Any final quick tips on navigating the bureaucracy or language?
Yeah, a few quick ones. Get registered with your local parish council, the Junta de Freguesia. Early on, that proof of address is needed for lots of things.
Yep.
Get your NIF, tax number, and NISS, social security number, sorted ASAP. They unlock everything else.
Okay.
Use online portals where you can eportugal.gov.pt has info. Some insurers like Seguro Directo offer online quotes. Always check if quotes are per month or per year. Sometimes monthly looks cheaper, but adds up. Can be. Language-wise, many major insurers do have English-speaking helplines or websites. Fidelidade, LAMs often do. Finding an English-friendly broker can also be a huge help. Ask for policy summaries in English if the full contract is complex.
Good idea. And emergency numbers.
Crucial. 112 is the universal emergency number, ambulance, fire, police. And for non-emergency health advice, there's the SNS 24 line, 808-24-24-24. Keep those handy.
Excellent. Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener?
Yeah.
Well, whether you're already packing your bags, maybe you're already there, or just starting to dream about Portugal, getting your head around these insurance layers, it's just foundational.
It really is.
It's not just about, ticking bureaucratic boxes. It's genuinely about having peace of mind, financial security as you settle into your new life or visit. We've seen Portugal's system is pretty comprehensive, designed to protect people. And hopefully with these insights, you feel much better equipped to make smart choices.
Absolutely. And maybe it leaves you with a final thought, a question to ponder. Given how things change, your life changes. The market in Portugal changes. Building costs change. How often should you really revisit your whole insurance setup? Is just renewing annually enough? Or does a big life event, buying that house, changing your job, having kids, or even just hitting 5 years with no car claims warrant a proper full review of all your policies to make absolutely sure you're still properly covered, efficiently covered, and definitely not overcutting?
That is a great question. Something to definitely keep in mind as you navigate your journey in Portugal.